Hey guys, I wanted to make this video today to talk about the upcoming fall migration. It's going to be starting any day now. You might be thinking, July? We're only in mid-July. How can fall migration already be starting? Well, it is. There are some very early migrants that come as early as end of July into early August. So we're going to talk a little bit about these early migrants, and we're going to hear some calls so that if you hear them, you know that they're around. If you go out in the morning and you're hearing them, you know where they are and you're like, okay, I know that the first migrants have showed up and migration has begun. As of today, I haven't seen any yet, but we're going to start with the blue-gray gnatcatcher. So I'm on allaboutbirds.org for the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. So the blue-gray gnatcatcher is usually the first bird that I am able to find for migration, and in the years past I've seen them as early as end of July, the blue-gray gnatcatcher. So we're going to talk a little bit about this bird. This is the blue-gray gnatcatcher. Usually the male to female generally looks just about the same, but sometimes they look a little bit different, so you can kind of see, they look, most of them look pretty much the same. They're both grayish and white with a little bit of black on the tail, but they can look slightly different. Some of them look a little more chunky and fat, and you can really see the eye ring, kind of like this one. And then others are more like slender, like this one. I've seen these before. So this is the blue-gray gnatcatcher. This is the earliest expected migrant into the Keys. So let's hear the call. You'll probably hear this bird before you see it. So let's listen real quick. That's the song that I recognize the most, I would have to say. This one here. And this one too. I've heard that one too. It's like a little Z. You get the idea. So that's how they sound. And as far as, where you're going to find this bird eats insects. So I pretty much see it all over the place. I see them on the fence. I see them in trees. I see them, jumping around from bush to bush, going up and down trees, any tree pretty much that it can find little bugs and stuff like that. So this bird it's pretty easy to find. And if you just listen for the call, if you hear the call and you kind of follow it, you're sure to find the gnatcatcher. So now photographing him is another story. These birds are so fast and so tiny, they can really be a challenge to photograph. So, and you'll see them up high in trees and everything. I mean, let's see, they have a video here. Oh, this one I think is making a nest, so no. Oh yeah, you can kind of hear it. Oh, see how kind of like fast? That's how fast they are. Even though she's in the same spot, she's in her nest, but see how fast she's just kind of like moves around. They're all like neurotic and stuff. I don't know how else to describe them. Okay, so the next bird is the yellow-throated warbler. I have seen the yellow-throated warbler here in the Keys as early as the first few days in August. So this one, it looks the same, male to female. It's got the nice yellow throat and it's got the gray with the black and white. So this one's pretty unmistakable. This one looks the same in breeding, non-breeding, male to female. It always looks this way. So this is kind of an always thing with this bird. It doesn't vary much. So if you see this bird, you're going to kind of know what it is. Now, as far as where to find this bird, actually, let's listen to the song first and we'll talk about where to find it. That's the song. Let's see. Now, I never really hear these ones do a song because they don't breed down here in the Keys. They're always here for non-breeding season. So I only hear the chip calls normally. So let's hear the chip calls. This is the flight call. Just that little, yeah. I've heard those. I've heard the chip call. I've heard the flight call. But I haven't heard the song really from this bird. Because like I said, they don't breed down here. And usually they're doing those songs during breeding time. So yeah, you're not really going to hear that much. Look for more of the chip calls. And sometimes the chip calls can be difficult to distinguish from other warblers. But if you really tune your ear, you can really kind of start to tell some of them apart. You can really start to notice. So you'll notice as we kind of go through these. Okay, so you can find this one often in the Royal Poinciana, or they call it the flamboyant tree. I will see these kind of opening up. This tree gets like a long... It's like, looks like a bean type thing with seeds inside, and I'll see them poking inside of the seeds to try to get bugs. This is also a bug-eating warbler. I believe, let's see, life history. I believe, I want to say I might have seen this one eating fruit sometimes. Oh, no, that's right. I've seen it eating, from coconut flowers. Yeah, I've also seen this in coconut palms. I've seen this bird in the false tamarind, or they call it the wild tamarind, and also mainly a lot in the Royal Poinciana, gumbo limbos, stuff like that. So that's a little bit about the yellow-throated warbler. Okay, we'll go to our next one that you're going to see early in fall migration. I'm over spring migration, like if we're still in spring. It wasn't that long ago. Okay. Okay. The next one is the Prairie Warbler. The Prairie Warbler is also a very early migrant. I've also seen this bird as early as the first couple of days in August, so you can expect to see this bird soon. Now, this bird does vary breeding season to non-breeding, male to female. Okay, so this is a breeding Prairie Warbler right here, the first picture, and this is the female here, and then let's see the video here. This looks like a male. The male is very strikingly black and yellow. Oh, here we go, like this guy here. Okay, this is a male. This is they have a very dark black, and they're very bright yellow. And then the female is more drab. She's more of like a, kind of like this one. Let's see, let me go back up. She's more of like this. Yeah, this is a female. She's got kind of almost like a brownish or buffy color, or almost a grayish with the yellow and the striae in the front. And here's another one of a female, but I feel like most of them look more like this. even more drab sometimes than that. So even this one here, yeah, this is a female as well. Yeah, they do. They look like this too. I see them almost a little bit more often that look like this. So this is what they look like. The only difference between the male in breeding season gets this little reddish patch, and in non-breeding you're not going to see that. So we're generally not going to see it in breeding down here. Right now it's going to be non-breeding season coming up. You're going to see them looking like this. This is a very good picture of one. So, so let's hear the call. I just did a video of the call and song of the Prairie Warbler. But we will go ahead and hear it real quick. Here's the song. Now, I have heard this. Down here. I have heard it in the spring. I want to say I've heard it through the summer and the fall too, but I don't know. But I have heard this call. So you can expect to maybe hear it. Yeah, this one I've heard, and I didn't know what the heck it was. I was like, what bird is this? Yep, I've heard that one. But you'll most often hear the tink and the chip calls. Here's a chip call. Yeah, I hear that one a lot. Okay, so you're going to hear that one a lot for the Prairie Warbler. Okay, here, hold on, the flight call. Yeah, so when you hear those, you'll recognize it. You'll start to notice the warbler chip calls. It sounds different than other birds. So it's something that I noticed that lets me know that the warblers have arrived. So the Prairie Warbler, you can also find it in the Royal Poinciana. I'm telling you, the Royal Poinciana in the fall is like the hot spot for warblers. I'm telling you, if you've got one on your property or in your neighbors or close by, just get under the canopy and look around and you're going to see this guy. They also really like the wild tamarin or the false tamarin. So you can see them in there eating worms and stuff like that. I have a lot of photos of these guys eating worms. So, but you can pretty much find them all over. I mean, they're pretty abundant. You're very likely to see one here in the fall. It's not as rare as some other warblers. So, I mean, if you go to any hardwood hammock or mangrove area or just, tropical hammock area, you're probably going to see one during fall migration. And you see them pretty early. It's one of the first warblers that you're going to see. So, okay, so the next one is the black and white warbler. This is also a more early. I've seen this early August. Some people say that they have even seen them into July. So this one also looks different during breeding season versus non-breeding, male to female. So you can see this first one is a male, and then the second one is a female. So you see that they're both black and white still, but you can see he's more vibrant with the black and white, I guess, and she's a little bit more drab with the black and white. His stripes are more prominent and hers are less. So you can notice that. And then this is an immature female. You will see these in the fall, definitely. And this is a male. You can kind of see the shape. And these you're going to see most likely in mahogany, the West Indian mahogany trees. This is mostly where I see them. And they go up and down the trees like a nuthatch would. Let me see if this is a video here. Yeah, let's see. You can kind of see it's very interesting. They move much different than other warblers do. Yeah, you see how he kind of and they're also very fast. how she just kind of flits up and down and all around, and this is the body movement. So sometimes you see a warbler from afar, you can ID them just by the way they move. I mean, if you really pay attention, you can observe this and train your eye to it. And if I see a warbler or a little bird on a West Indian mahogany tree moving around like this, and I can't quite make it out, I know 9 times out of 10 this is a black and white warbler. So let's hear the call of the black and white warbler. You're mostly gonna hear those chip calls. I've never heard the actual song on this one before. Here's the song. Okay, here's a chip call. It's pretty distinctive. So if you can tell, the chip call on this one is pretty distinctive. It's pretty different than some of the other chip calls that we've heard. The other ones almost sound more high pitch and more like a song, and this one sounds, I don't know, it's like more mechanical sounding, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. Here is another one. Yeah. The black-throated blue warbler also has that weird, almost like a mechanical sounding call. It's not like a nice high pitch, So yeah, here's a little bit more of the chip call. This one's pretty distinctive, so I do recognize this one when I hear it when I go out, and you can tune your ear to it. Here's the flight call. Okay, so that's the black and white warbler. Again, West Indian mahogany is going to be your best bet to find this warbler in the Keys. So the next bird that you're going to see early in migration also is the barn swallow. This one can be found, so it's actually pretty interesting. These guys kind of make their way down through the Keys, and they start at the 18-mile stretch of highways. So they're making their way down through Florida, and you can see them if you have a good chance if you go early August, even into mid-August, to see these guys on the stretch. You'll be driving and you'll see just a whole flock of these birds going through. Let me see if they have a look at how they look flying. They look like a little frisbee in the sky. Here we go. Maybe this will show it. I mean, you'll see them in big flocks, just like little boomerangs going up and down. Okay, oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, well, sort of. You can kind of sort of see it here. But you see how they're... Yeah, this is not a great video of it, but... You can kind of see, here we go. This is what they look like in the sky. This is what they look like in flight. And this is how you'll see them. This is how you'll see them most often. It's rare you're going to find them perched. You're most likely going to see them flying off the stretch, or as they go down the Keys through your neighborhood, down US 1, you're most likely going to see them flying. You're probably not going to find them perched. I only have one photo of these guys perched that I've ever gotten on a telephone wire. You can find it sometimes in the evening, but you'll mostly find them just flying through the streets, in the middle of the streets, catching bugs through your neighborhood, down US 1, through the 18-mile stretch between Florida City and Key Largo. So, and I have never heard the call of the barn swallow, but let's see what it sounds like. Let's see, here's the song. Oh, wow. I definitely have not heard that. That's interesting. Okay, here's the call. I might have heard that, actually. let's see one more. I don't think I've heard that one. Okay. Oh, geez, there's a lot. There's a lot of different calls here. Yeah, you can go on Merlin and see all the different calls on the Merlin app. But yeah, this one you're going to see flying through the air. You're not going to see it in trees. You're not going to see it perched very often. It happens, but it's rare. So yeah, you see these little boomerangs in the sky. This is what they look like though. And you probably see other swallows too. There's a lot of different kinds that pass through the keys. Let's see, it says the other ones that pass through the keys are, oh, you've got like the purple martin and the bank swallow and chimney swift and, you know, all these kind of things. So, all right, so our last one is the American redstart, and this one definitely varies from male to female, breeding to non-breeding. Let's talk a little bit about this real quick first. So you can find this one early to mid-August. I would probably say a little closer to mid-August, but still a more early migrant. You've got the adult male that is the vibrant black and orange. I like to call it the Halloween bird because of the black and orange. And then you've got the female, or sometimes mistaken the juvenile male, that is the yellow, a little bit of yellow here with the gray. So, and then in springtime, you'll see the immature males losing those feathers and turning black. You'll see them all like spotted and stuff like this. And then, but in fall, you're going to see either this one or this one. You're not going to see that in between in the fall. So, see, okay, so here's another immature male, a little bit spotty, a little bit of orangey looking stuff. So they can be difficult to identify sometimes between the immature male and the female, but an adult male looks completely different. This is a female, this is the adult male. So these birds, you're gonna find them also in the Royal Poinciana. You're also going to find them in Gumbo Limbo. You're going to find them in the West Indian Mahogany. You're going to find them pretty much, you know, any hardwood hammock area, anywhere that there's bugs. You can even find these guys on a trash can. If there's flies buzzing around, you'll find them on a trash can catching flies. If there's dead fish, on the side of the road or in the forest, somebody throws a dead fish and there's flies circling around, you can find one of these birds hanging out catching the flies. I actually read some history on this bird that said it used to be called the latrine bird because it used to hang out around outhouses because it was catching the flies. You'll also see this bird even on the ground, catching bugs and flitting around. Let me see if it shows that behavior in these videos. Oh, see how they fan the tail out like that? They're always you can tell this one by the body movements too. If you're seeing one in the tree and you don't know what it is, you can really tell by the way that they move their body. Okay, let's see. All right, so, oh, this one is begging. It's not really doing its crazy hyper, you know, tail fan food thing. Let's see if this one's doing it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. They're kind of more doing it. Yeah, a little bit. They kind of do that. They fan their tail out and they kind of go from side to side and move their body around and stuff like that. But you can find these on fences. You can find them on the ground. You can find them in trees. You can pretty much find them all over. So, and then let's listen to the call of the American redstart. Alright, that's the song. I can't say I've ever heard this song before. Okay, here's the dawn song. Yeah, I can't say I've heard this song before. Probably I hear more the chip calls. Yeah, I recognize these. I recognize the chip calls. Or the tink calls. These are recognizable as well. And you see how they sound different. So this one's a little bit more high pitched than the other one was. And that's the flight call. Okay, yeah, so so this one you can find them eating bugs most of the time. This one's pretty much an insect eater. Most warblers are, but there's some warblers that eat fruit and nectar as well. So yeah, these are all your early migrants. I'll do another video about when you're going to start seeing raptor activity, falcons, hawks, raptors and stuff like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that and where you can most likely find them, where are some good places to find them. But that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this and this is helpful so that you can know which migrants to start looking for in just a few, not even weeks. I mean, it could be days, guys. We could get our first gnatcatchers. So, all right, you guys have a good night. Thanks. Bye.